Welcome back to another track test video here at Toronto Motorsports Park, where I'm trying out this internet famous Plymouth Prowler. So maybe I misspoke, maybe the Prowler's not internet famous, but its owner is. This is Yuri from the Straight Pipes. He might have been here earlier driving our Miata, so stay tuned for that episode.
That was fun, that was a lot of fun.
I think he even said very boldly that it was more engaging to drive than the Prowler. Have you changed your mind on that?
No, it's true.
Well, we're gonna find out, or at least I'm gonna find out today. He's kind enough to let us take it for a rip here. Before that though, why a Prowler? What drew you to this car?
Like, there's nothing like it. Like, nothing like it in so many ways. And as a kid growing up, you saw in like 1999, I'm like in grade 7, I'm like, obviously this is cool. And now I'm old enough, the prices have gone down. It's my attainable dream car, and I got it in the perfect spec.
So what is the price range on these?
Everyone lists them at 38,000 Canadian.
Okay.
I got this one for around 29,000 Canadian.
Oh, that's pretty amazing for what is basically a factory hot rod. It's a pretty incredible thing that Chrysler did. It was a pretty bold move. And really, has anyone built anything like this from a major manufacturer since then?
SSR is the closest.
Yeah.
But like not as wild as this.
It's pretty unique. I mean, if you come and take a closer look, I love the double A-arm front suspension design. It's basically like off a Formula car, isn't it?
Oh, of course. It's a Prowler.
It's a Prowler. And have you been doing some prowling in it? You're just cruising around Toronto in it, more or less?
Well, we drove down to New Jersey and back on an attainable dream car road trip with Jacob's Raptor, and it did fine. I mean, it's like noisy and bumpy and kind of a pain to drive a convertible.
Top down the whole time?
Well, of course.
So you don't look that sunburned. You did pretty well.
I got a big hat.
Oh, okay. So what is the driving experience like in it? I mean, it's a Chrysler product from the late 90s, early 2000s, so it's probably has some creaks and moans and stuff in it.
Yeah, a lot of that. It's pretty bumpy because it's like hot rod-ish,
Yeah.
but like everyone looks, that's the thing. Like every street you go down, everyone's looking at it. And that's kind of what I wanted it for, just because it's so outrageous. I just love looking at it myself too.
If you're going to get a Prowler, you might as well get it in bright yellow too, right? Take it over the top.
Prince had a purple one, Yuri's got a yellow one. That's the level I'm putting myself on.
That's a pretty good level. And as power goes, I thought maybe it had a small V8 in it, but you corrected me. It's actually a 3.5.
V6, yeah. So it's got 250 horsepower. It went up from 215 after the first 2 years.
Okay.
It changed to an aluminum block.
Okay.
And then transaxle, rear-wheel drive, 4-speed auto stick. You
Okay.
can shift left and right.
Nice.
It actually does work. And
Okay.
all the shifts come in super hard.
Okay.
So when it gears up, it's
okay.
on purpose.
It's the same 3.5 out of my grandpa's Intrepid, actually. So it's, but it sounds really pretty good.
Yeah,
they did a nice job tuning the exhaust on it.
Yeah, that's a stock exhaust. It's purpley. Like, it's actually the coolest. Like,
It really is pretty amazing. And I mean, it's the most unique thing that I will have ever driven around TMP. I think I've driven some pretty weird things around here, but I think this is going to be the top of the list. So let's go throw some lids on and go for a quick rip. All right, everybody. Have a look at the interior in here. This thing is so cool. I love the way the gauge cluster is sort of nautical. I don't know, it reminds me of a speedboat for some reason. And this tack here I thought was an aftermarket edition, but Yuri says nope, that's actually the factory tack. Pretty cool. So throw this old slush box into drive here. Oh, do I have to go up there for drive? Oh, there's drive there. I'm gonna leave it in full auto for a lap and see how that works. Just waiting for an opening to roll it on the track here. I don't want to hold anybody up. Not implying, Yuri, that your Prowler won't be fast, but I have no idea what to expect. And we should mention it's running on what might be the most staggered wheel and tire setup I have ever tried or ever seen. 17s in the front, I think it's like a 225, and then 20s in the rear, like a 295 wide rear tire. So a huge stagger. Oh, she's snappy off the line though. Sounds good too, I like it. Pedal to the metal here, up the front straight, and I got a raindrop on the windshield, Yuri. Hope that's not gonna freak you out. She revs up to just a little over 6,000 RPM, down into the first corner. I did notice the brakes looked small, so I'm not gonna ask a lot of the brakes. I mean, this is a rare car. I think Yuri said they made 11,000 of them. It's not that rare, but it's pretty rare. And I know it's his dream car, so the last thing I want to do is disrespect his car by cooking the brakes and putting it in a field somewhere. And I'm gonna keep it off the curbs too, because again, it's just a cool rare car that I don't want to accidentally do something stupid to. So really, we're just gonna give it a bit of a shakedown here and see what a Prowler feels like when you drive it hard around a racetrack. And so far, it feels surprisingly good. It doesn't have any scary understeer or oversteer tendencies so far. I would have thought with such a small front tire it would want to understeer a lot, but so far that was actually pretty good behavior in the first couple of corners. Down through the little chicane here. And this thing only weighs 2,800 pounds, so it's surprisingly light, which might explain why the brakes are not that big, and it's obviously not on a race pad or anything like that. And Yuri did put some new Continental Sport Contact 5s on it, so a pretty grippy summer tire. And you can feel it. It actually grips up really well through the dog leg there. Around the last corner here. A little bit of understeer, but not bad. Not bad, man. Pretty special experience to be able to drive this kind of car around a racetrack. You know what? The auto trend is behaving pretty good. It downshifted. It's kind of trying to keep the motor in the power band. It's not doing a bad job at all. It does have that kind of like lazy auto shifting motion from that era where it kind of goes when it shifts. But hey, this thing is, what? How old is this? I think he said it's a 2001, so it's 18 years old. You can't expect it to have a ZF out of a Jaguar F-Type. And really, this car is fun to drive. I kind of thought it would feel just, I don't know, out of place on a racetrack, but I gotta say, it's actually really engaging to drive. You could go out on a twisty country road and actually chase some people down in this and blow their minds in the process, because it'd be like, what did you just pass me in? That's like nothing I've ever seen before. All right, last lap here, everybody. I'll try a little harder, see if I can put in a decent lap time for you, but really, who cares about lap times in a car like this? This is just about driving pleasure. This is about the experience of being in something that just blows minds because its design is so unique. It's really not meant to be a track day car by any means, is it? But I'm really pleasantly surprised by how much fun it is to hustle around here. It is picking up a little bit of front end push, and I can smell the brakes getting a little bit grumpy, but this track is super hard on brakes, so you gotta expect that with what I assume is just like an OE type of brake pad. But yeah, it's got a little push there. Really, it grips up good. Like it's a surprisingly grippy car. Down through the chicane here. There's definitely no chance of power sliding it. It has so much rear tire, it's so much rear grip. Doesn't matter what you do with the throttle, you're never gonna break the rear end loose. So you can drive it pretty aggressively as far as like if you're worried about spinning it out, you're never gonna spin this thing out. It'll definitely go into understeer before it has any thought of oversteering. So it's a car you can actually beat on pretty hard and not really worry about stuffing it in a ditch. So there you go, everybody. 3 hot laps in the Prowler. Let's go have another chat with Yuri about it. Well, let's get the lap time out of the way first for those of you who care about it. It did a 1:30.11, which is actually faster than several brand new cars I've tested this year. So it is not the slowest car on our lap time leaderboard.
Is it slow for a V6?
No, it isn't. I mean, it's not slow, period. For a car that's 18 years old.
Thank you.
It's actually surprisingly good around the racetrack. I mean, obviously the gearbox is not designed for this environment, but for me, in full auto mode, it was shifting where I expected to. I was never like waiting for it to shift. It seemed like it had pretty good shift logic. So I never was tempted to use like the slappy paddle, the auto stick thing, and the grip level is what really surprised me. Like it had really good grip. Obviously the new tires help.
Yeah, but they're so wide and there's not enough power. Like
exactly, you can never oversteer on power. You'd have to do something.
Kind of sucks.
It does. You're never gonna do like big smoky burnouts, but it's not built for that. And I was worried with a small front tire it would understeer everywhere, but it has a little bit of understeer if you attack too hard, but it's never like full lock plowing in a straight line understeer. It's actually very controllable. So all in all, it's a really fun car to drive. And I mean, it should have great suspension geometry the way they've done the design on it. So I shouldn't be surprised that it felt as good as it did. And like the ride quality is good. It's not choppy. It's not like, it doesn't feel like the front axle is out of sync with the rear axle. It feels like a proper driver's car.
It does. That's the weird thing about it.
I thought it's a show car, like or a show-off car. Not to call you a show-off, but I never thought it would be built as a driver's car. But it really impressed me by how good it was at or near the limit. Like we could go faster if we really like pounded curbs and abused it a bit more.
We don't want to hurt it.
It's your dream car. I wanted to treat his baby with respect. You know, you don't take another man's car and whip it too hard when he tells you not to bounce it off the curb. So, awesome experience. Thanks so much for letting me drive it. I really appreciate it. And I don't know, man. I'm kind of blown away. I think if it was our car, we would swap a Hemi into it or something. But you're saying you want to really like respect that it's.
I want to keep it original because the amount of stuff someone had to go through at a company to build this. like it deserves to stay this way. But there's a lot of people who mod theirs.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get a second one. You guys can make it into a track car, like a drift car or something.
Yeah, a drift prowler. Ooh.
It'll be easy to get some more drift angle with all the open.
Exactly. 2J swap it. I know Pete's been buying 2Js lately, like they're going out of style. So thank you everyone for watching. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate Yuri from the Straight Pipes for letting us try it out.
For the handshake.
We will we will do another handshake, and we will hope you come back and watch our next track test. I don't know what it'll be in. Maybe a Raptor? Who knows? You'll have to watch to find out. And by the way, go check out the Straight Pipes too for all your new car reviews, to see what they're doing with the Prowler. Just cooling off the brakes, cooling off the brakes. Don't want Yuri to die when he's driving it home. He'd be like, Dave, you broke my f***ing car, now I'm dead. I'm in the ditch because you ruined my brakes. You ruined my brakes. You're a real piece of work, you dumbass racing, pretend racing driver. That's right, everybody. This is Dave coming to you in a Prowler. I don't know what I'm prowling for. Too old to prowl for what you guys might be thinking I'm prowling for. Definitely not prowling for that. And I'm not prowling for that other thing you might think I'm prowling for, because that's not the way I swing, everybody. I can assure you of that. So maybe I'm prowling for lap times. Maybe I'm prowling for cover because it looks like it's about to rain on me and I'm driving around a racetrack in a convertible. Who knows what I'm prowling for, everybody? There's only one way to find out, and that's to go and to subscribe to Speed Academy on YouTube. And maybe even go follow us on Facebook and Instagram and whatever else you kids do these days with your snappy chatties and your pingy pongies and your lingy longies.